Greetings, people. Welcome back to my channel. This is a follow-up. This is a follow-up on female history of Freemasonry in Jamaica. This is about a chapter called South Carolina Regiment. Our chapter. Them fighting in America after the war for America's independence, America's Civil War. And them come back to Jamaica. Jamaica people. Listen to the story, to the history, and the reason why they've been called South Carolina, as we mentioned a while ago. Everything there so far, you're going to listen to it and you'll get a brief history of them and get an idea of where these people been up to and how long they've been around and are going with them things. So, we could get into it without delay.
Masonic history. A short history of the South Carolina Lodge, No. 390 LC, and Irish Freemasonry in Jamaica and the Bahamas. At the beginning of the 20th century, certain officers and other ranks of the 1st Battalion, the West India Regiment, were showing an increasing interest in Freemasonry, and gradually, the idea grew of forming a lodge within the battalion. At this stage in its history, the 1st Battalion alternated between duty on the then called Gold Coast and duty in Jamaica, approximately 2 to 3 years at a time being spent in any one place. This would mean that those interested in forming a lodge would have to decide whether to apply for a permanent warrant, which would mean that the warrant earned, therefore, the lodge would have to remain in one place although the battalion travelled, or for a travelling warrant, which would mean that the warrant earned, therefore, the lodge would be able to go wherever the lodge went. Like many military brethren before and since, who have decided that their lodge must be able to move with the regiment, the brethren concerned decided to apply for a travelling warrant. The Irish being the only Grand Lodge to permit the warrant to move with the lodge, the new lodge was formed under the Irish Constitution. The warrant of the lodge was granted on 27 October, 1905, to brothers Sidney C. Thompson, Herbert W. Conybeare and John A. MacLeod as the first WM and wardens. The name given to the lodge was the South Carolina Lodge, 1st West India Regiment, No. 390 LCY South Carolina. The lodge has no definite proof, but the answer must surely be connected with the history of the West India Regiment. During the American War of Independence, a British expeditionary force from New York captured the state of Georgia. As a result, Loyalists flocked to the British camp where they were formed into a number of corps, the South Carolina Corps being one of them. This corps took an active part in the war, became a cavalry regiment in 1780 and, at the end of the war, moved to Jamaica. The new South Carolina Regiment had a short life as such, however, for in 1795 it was amalgamated with another regiment to form White's Regiment of Foot, a title which was changed shortly afterwards to the West India Regiment. The link with the original corps was perpetuated by the formation within the 1st Battalion of the new regiment of a South Carolina company. It is not known whether the founders of the lodge were members of the company or whether they were merely brethren with a nice sense of history. The lodge, to quote from the 1913 bylaws, was erected and consecrated at Sierra Leone on 27 February, 1906. Unfortunately, little is known of those early days, for all the minute books covering the period prior to 1938 are lost. Presumably, however, the the lodge moved with the battalion between the Gold Coast and Jamaica until the First World War, and the chances are that it went to France when the battalion served there during the war. We know that there were a Royal Arch Chapter No. 390 West India Regiment and a lodge of Mark Master Masons belonging to the chapter operative in 1914. After the war, the battalion moved into permanent quarters in Jamaica, and this had a profound effect on the type of membership of the lodge. Instead of membership being confined to serving members of the battalion, as was the case until then, the following were made eligible to join, to quote from the 1925 bylaws. A. Pensioner and serving members of His Majesty's forces. B. Former members of His Majesty's forces who had served a full 6 years. C. Such civilian brethren, preference being given to those who have served in, or are otherwise connected with His Majesty's forces, as may be invited to join the lodge. This change of membership is reflected in a new name for the lodge which, by 1925, had become the South Carolina Lodge, West India Regiment and Associated Garrison, No. 390 I.C. Fees for initiation etc. were £6.6.0d. By 1925 and the dues were 24 per annum. Although this amount was reduced to 18 if the brother was a subscribing member of either the Sussex, 354 EC, Marquis, 2519 EC, or Imperial Service, 987 SC. Lodges. The service lodges, apparently, saw a lot of each other in 1912, for example, Marquis Lodge entertained the Brethren of South Carolina Lodge with a concert, at a cost of £10, on the occasion of the West India Regiment leaving Jamaica another tour of duty abroad. In 1927 the West India Regiment was disbanded and the warrant of the lodge was surrendered to Grand Lodge. Later that year a group of civilians, mostly police and prison staff, who had been connected with the lodge applied for the reinstatement of the lodge under the name of the South Carolina Lodge, No. 390 I.C. The consecration of the Lodge Irish Constitution took place at 80 Hanover Street, Kingston on 3 April 1928. The following brethren were appointed by the Grand Master to represent the Grand Lodge of Ireland. As W.M.W. Bro. Frank E. Lyons, PDGW, ICA, as S.W. W. Bro. Dr. Harry, PDGW, ICA, as J.W. The following brethren were installed as the first officers of the Reformed Lodge. W.M.W. Bro. Inspector W.H.F. Siderley. S.W.W. Bro. Honorable J.P. O'Leary Bradbury. J.W. Bro. J.Y. Horner. Secchi / Treasurer Bro. J.M. O'Connor. Of C. Bro. J. Higgins. S.D. Bro. Inspector M.W. Harrell. The names of the J.D. and I.G. are not recorded as, being away from Jamaica, they were not invested. It is interesting to note that at least 2 of the first officers were connected with the police. Again, nothing is known of the Reformed Lodge until the minute books take up the story again in 1938. During 1938 the idea of forming a Royal Arch chapter was mooted. In February 1939 R.W. Bro. Thompson, a Grand Lodge officer, visited Jamaica and the matter was discussed with him. It was decided that, as the English ritual used in Jamaica was so different from of the Irish, a chapter established successfully unless someone well versed in the Irish ritual was available to pass on his knowledge and to supervise the work for some time. It was decided to leave the matter in abeyance. The lodge met on 5 September 1939, but there is no comment in the minutes concerning the start of the war except to include an apology from the WM who was absent because he had been mobilized for duty during the present crisis. At the next communication, However, the WM was back in the chair. The effect of the war was not felt until 1941. Between then and 1945 there were 15 initiations, 11 affiliations and 9 resignations. At the October 1939 communication, a special welcome was extended to visiting brethren from HM Australian ship Perth. By 1942 wartime restrictions were making themselves felt, especially in the use of cars, with the result that the brethren were having to use public transportation in order to attend lodge. This led to a directive from the WM that, in future, the wearing of evening dress would be optional. On the 8th of June 1946, members of the lodge attended a Thanksgiving service at the temple to mark the successful conclusion of the war. At the installation meeting in January 1948, the lodge was honored by the presence of R.W. Bro. Sir Ernest Cooper, President of the Board of General Purposes of the Grand Lodge of England. At the November communication, the death was announced of M.W. Bro. the Earl of Dornamore, the Grand Master of the Grand Lodge of Ireland. At the December communication, R.W. Bro. J.J. Mills, recently appointed DGM of the District Grand Lodge of Scotland in Jamaica, was welcomed to the lodge as an honorary member. At the same communication, the lodge's chaplain, W. Bro. P.L. Abraham, was congratulated on his appointment as DGM of the District Grand Lodge of England in Jamaica. In December 1949, a general election was held in Jamaica. In a pre-election speech, a member of one of the parties accused the secretary of the lodge of attaching political articles to the December notices before sending them out. An investigation was carried out by the IPM of the lodge and the allegation was refuted. In August 1951, a hurricane hit Jamaica and much damage was done. The lodge did not hold its September communication as conditions were still unsettled. At the October communication, a cable of condolence from the Deputy Grand Master was read. 1953 was an historic year for the lodge. At the April communication, the lodge celebrated the 25th anniversary of the reforming of the lodge. Both D.G.M.S. were present, as were several of the brethren who had assisted at the consecration ceremony. The minutes of the communication were signed by the Deputy Grand Master of the Grand Lodge of Ireland. At the May communication, the lodge was honoured by the presence of R.W. Bro. Frank Allo, Deputy Grand Master, who took the chair for a time. After the evening's work, the Deputy GM, by invitation, assessed what he had seen. After pointing out certain minor differences in the ritual as worked in Ireland, R.W. Bro. Lowe congratulated the lodge on the high standard of work. He said that, considering the fact that it was many years since an Irish brother had been present to check on the work of the lodge, it was amazing how few heresies had crept into the ritual as worked in Jamaica. At a subsequent meeting with the senior officers of the lodge, the Deputy GM recommended certain minor changes in the ritual of the lodge. One other change made was in the form of the loyal toast, which had formerly been the King and the Craft. It was pointed out by the Deputy GM that Irish Masonry was based on Southern Ireland and, therefore, a toast coupling the monarch with Freemasonry was not acceptable. He hastened to add that there was nothing to stop the WM from proposing a loyal toast to the monarch, followed by a toast to the craft or to the Grand Lodges. As a result of the visit of the Deputy GM, the lodge received 2 honours later in the year. Firstly, the lodge was granted the privilege of its master being able to reply on behalf of Grand Lodge at installation meetings of sister lodges. Secondly, the honorary rank of past senior Grand Deacon was bestowed on 3 of the senior past masters of the lodge, W. Bro. H. F. Endersby, the secretary, W. Bro. O. Scoggin, the director of ceremonies, and W. Bro. R. S. Grant. These brethren were the first members of the lodge to receive Grand Lodge honors. Extract from the Deputy G.M.'s report to Grand Lodge at the St. John's Day meeting, 1953. In both these places, Bermuda and Jamaica, I was impressed by the working of our ceremonies and the freedom from borrowed ritual. One should remember how difficult the maintenance of the purity of our distinctive ritual must be when the more numerous lodges of other constitutions are meeting in the area, and visits to such lodges are a welcome part of Masonic life. Extract from the report of the Grand Secretary at the same meeting. The working of this lodge, South Carolina, is most impressive. It is carried out, particularly in conferring a degree, with a dignity and precision which reflect the enthusiasm of its officers and members. In November, 1953, H.M. Queen Elizabeth and Bro. H.R.H. the Duke of Edinburgh paid a visit to Jamaica. Along with the English and Scottish constitutions, the lodge presented an illuminated address to W.I. Bro. Sir Hugh Foote, Governor of Jamaica, for transmission to Her Majesty. In 1954 the bylaws of the lodge were revised. The incoming master's responsibilities for the installation banquet were limited to 10, and an installation banquet fee of 1 guinea per attending member was introduced. The method of electing the 3 junior officers of the lodge was changed to the system of individual ballots. Formerly, 1 ballot had covered the 3 offices, the brother receiving the most votes becoming SD, the next JD and the third IG. In March, 1958, the M.W. the Grand Master Mason and R.W. the Grand Secretary of the Grand Lodge of Scotland visited Jamaica, and the W.M. and officers of the lodge were invited to attend a communication held in their honour. In April, 1959, the bylaws of the lodge were changed to permit brethren living more than 25 miles from Kingston to become country members, thus paying reduced fees. In March, 1960, R.W. Bro. F.H. Bowen, the new DGM of English Freemasonry in Jamaica, was elected an honorary member of the lodge. At the same communication the lodge received a visit from R.W. Bro. Sir John Cecil Williams, a member of the Grand Lodge of England. During 1961 the bylaws of the lodge were amended so as to limit the number of candidates for initiation to 3 and the number of candidates for affiliation to 5 in any period of 12 months from the previous installation. This decision was made because the brethren felt that limitation of the size of the lodge would encourage the formation of a second Irish lodge in Kingston. During 1962 the honorary rank of past Grand Senior Deacon was bestowed on W. Brothers G. W. Woolner and E. G. Groves. This meant that, at the time, there were 5 members of the lodge holding past Grand rank. During the year, also, it was agreed that, in future, brethren of the lodge would meet with visiting brethren downstairs for a few minutes before being seated at table. This proved a most popular innovation. In 1963 the lodge was represented at a communication held to welcome R.W. Bro. Major General Sir Alan Adair, the Assistant Grand Master of the Grand Lodge of England and the accredited representative of the Grand Lodge of Ireland, to the Grand Lodge of England. At the October communication it was reported that Mrs. O. Scoggin, widow of V.W. Bro. Scoggin, had presented a Masonic wine bottle, dated 1855, to the lodge in memory of her late husband. It was subsequently decided that the bottle should remain in the custody of the incumbent W.M. during his term of office. In 1964 the dues of the lodge were raised from £4 to £6 per annum, with country members paying £2. At the July communication the lodge paid the last sad tribute of respect to the memory of R.W. Bro. Raymond F. Brooke, the Grand Master Mason. In November a member of the lodge, R.W. Bro. Jackson M.C.L. Wint, was installed as DGM of Scottish Freemasonry in Jamaica. In 1965 the lodge appointed its first steward of charities. The lodge also held its first Ladies' Night that year, It took the form of a dinner at the Terra Nova Hotel. The crockery of the lodge having been replaced in 1968, it was decided to give pieces of the old crockery to the Masonic Museum in Hanover Street and to the Institute of Jamaica. That year the lodge decided to resume the number of regular communications from 10 to 8, communications not being held in January, July, August, September. In future, installations was had by all. Would be held in February. In 1970 R.W. Bro. C.G. Grand, the new DGM of the Scottish Constitution in Jamaica, was elected an honorary member of the lodge. In October 1971, the lodge moved to the Temple of the Scottish Constitution at 11 McGregor Square, thus ending its long association with the English Temple at 80 Hanover Street. In 1972 W. Bro. Dr. Aubrey Jacobs, the new DGM of Jamaica, English Constitution, was elected an honorary member of the lodge. On departing from Jamaica later that year, V.W. Bro. R.S. Grant presented the lodge with 2 volumes of a Masonic encyclopedia, so that Freemasonry in general in Jamaica should benefit from the gift. It was decided to lend the volumes to the Masonic Library. In May 1973, it was decided to increase the dues to $20 per annum for members living in the corporate area and to $7 for all others not so resident. In May 1974, it was reported that Grand Lodge had conferred the honorary rank of past Grand Deacon on W. Brothers R.C. Livingston, S. Murphy and L. Lloyd. In July the lodge broke new ground in that a family outing by private train to a beach near Port Antonio was arranged. A good time was had by all. In June 1976, R.W. Bro. Lloyd Wong, DGM of the District Lodge of Jamaica and the Bahamas, SC, was elected an honorary member of the lodge. In November it was reported that Grand Lodge had conferred the honorary rank of past Grand Deacon on W. Bro. 1 H. Gibbs. 1978–1988. The period of the 70s was a difficult time in Jamaica, with many brethren leaving the island as they sought a safer and or a better way of life. South Carolina Lodge was particularly hard hit, falling to a membership low of some 13 members as it comprised a high proportion of expatriate members. An appeal to the members of sister constitutions elicited a positive response and the continuity of the lodge was assured. On the 4th day of April 1977, the 50th anniversary, the following brethren affiliated to the lodge are W. Bro. Dr. Aubrey Shervington Jacobs, DGM, EC, W. Bro. Brig. Rudolph George Edward Green, DDGM, EC, W. Bro. Edward M. McConnell W. Bro. Dr. Claude F. Wright. In May of 1977, evidence that an Irish Royal Arch and Mark Lodge existed in Jamaica was confirmed by the presentation to the Lodge of the certificates issued 1916 to Bro. James F. Drayton, a sergeant in the 1st West India Regiment, by Mrs. Drayton, a widow of the lodge since 1928. In June 1977 the Provincial Grand Chaplain of County Down, Vero. Bro. Reverend T.C. Burrows visited Jamaica, however, time did not allow for his visit to coincide with a lodge communication. In May 1978, the position of Steward of Charities was first established. In February of 1980, the lodge elected to honorary membership, RT were Bro. Oswald C. MacDonald, District Grand Master of Jamaica and the Bahamas, Scottish Constitution. In October of 1980 a rather unusual but pleasant historical event occurred when Bro. Albert E. Ted Meal forwarded to the lodge his leave certificate dated the 4th of September 1928 which he considered was still applicable. Brother Ted, as he was affectionately known, was the only known was the only surviving member of the original Lodge 1905-1926, and a founder member of the reconstituted Lodge of 16 December 1927. In October 1985, he presented an original Irish ritual book and a master's gavel, made from stone from the quarries at Jerusalem, to the Lodge. In his will he left the lodger of money to be used to buy port wine for dispensing at future installation meetings, in respect of absent brethren. In November 1980 the honorary rank of past Grand Deacon was conferred on W. Bro. Derek Fuller. In 1981 the bylaws of the lodge were redrafted and W. Bro. Captain H. Wharton presented a complete set of working tools, in a presentation box to the lodge. During 1981, the death, in October, of the Grand Master, Right Honourable Earl of Dornamore, was recorded and the lodge went into a period of mourning. In November 1981, the honorary rank of past Grand Deacon was conferred on W. Brother Ian M. D. Murphy. Brother Dennis Groom Davidson was honoured in February 1982, by Grand Lodge on his attaining 50 years as a Mason. A 50-year medal was presented and the Lodge conferred the honorary rank of Past Master. The Lodge also conferred honorary rank on the following brethren: Bro. G. W. Woolner, Honorable P. G. D. W. Bro. E. G. Groves, Honorable P. G. D. W. Bro. S. A. Murphy, Honorable P. G. D. W. Bro. I. H. Gibbs, Honorable P. G. D. W. Bro. Major E. Meile, P. G. D. The year was completed by Grand Lodges approving the revised bylaws. In March 1983, the resuscitation of an Irish Royal Arch chapter was proposed by R. W. Bro. Dr. Aubrey S. Jacobs and a committee was appointed to look into the proposition. Widow of the Lodge. The death, in November 1983, of Mrs. Annie Drayton brought to a close the support of this widow of the Lodge since 1928 and the conclusion of the Lodge carrying out its Masonic duty on behalf of a deceased brother. Mrs. Drayton was, over the years, visited by Brother Groom Davidson and often told the story that her late husband, Bro. James F. Drayton, Sergeant 1 St. West India Regiment, had told her that, if ever anything happened to him, she should hold on to his lodge certificates and seek out the lodge for help. She told the story that, sometime after his death, she traveled to Cuba, apparently seeking work and, on presentation of her late husband's lodge certificates, was well looked after. New Masonic Temple and visit of DGM of Ireland. In March 1984, the Lodge decided to move from the Scottish Temple at McGregor Square to the New English Temple at Barbados Avenue. On Saturday 5 May 1984, an emergency communication was held at Barbados Avenue to welcome the Deputy Grand Master of the Grand Lodge of Ireland, R. W. Bro. Major George Malone, who was visiting Jamaica, virtually 30 years to the day, since a Grand Lodge officer had last visited the Lodge. The DGM made the first entry in the new minute book and presided over the first opening of the Lodge. The Lodge carried out a raising and the DGM complimented the Lodge on the excellence of their labor and urged the Lodge to continue, as such. The Lodge was also pleased to welcome the DGM of Panama as a guest of the Lodge. The DGM invested V. Bro. Jackson McLaren Wint with the collar of an honorable past Grand Deacon. The DGM congratulated Bro. Dennis Groom Davidson for his attaining 50 years as a Mason, and the minutes of the communication held 1953, during the visit of the former DGM, on that occasion, were read. The DGM was presented with a scroll of honor. He commented that the labor he had witnessed, that of the old Singapore ritual, was a first-rate performance and could stand up with the ritual of the Grand Lodge of Instruction. Arising out of the visit of the DGM, W. Bro. Captain H. Wharton gave a lecture at the June communication on matters discussed with the DGM. It appeared that, as the lodge had not been visited for some 30 years, certain procedures, which were no longer in use in Ireland, were, in fact, still in use in Jamaica. Brother Wharton took the lodge through a number of points, which were noted in the minutes for the future guidance of the lodge. Formation of new lodge. Brother Wharton advised that the visit of the DGM had crystallized his idea of forming a new lodge to create the opportunity for brethren in the north to gain accelerated promotion. He advised the lodge that he had obtained the signatures of 9 brethren on a petition through which action had been pursued. Honors and certificates. At the October communication, W. Bro. Captain H. Wharton was appointed Honourable PGD and W. Bro. Glenley Shamrock Neil Dwyer was presented with his Grand Lodge certificates for the Irish Mark and Royal Arch chapters, obtained in Nigeria some 20 years previously. Western Shamrock. The lodge voted on the desirability of forming an additional Irish lodge at the October, 1984, communication, to be known as Western Shamrock, as it was the desire of V.W. Bro. Wharton, that the lodge should meet in Spanish Town, St. Catherine, west of the corporate area. This was decided, by a majority ballot, in favor of a new lodge after a spirited debate on the necessity to establish the lodge. Royal Arch Chapter. The lodge approved the appointment of an investigating committee to look into the formation of a Royal Arch chapter under the chairmanship of V.W. Bro. Jackson M.C.L. Wint. Establishment of a new lodge. Also, at the October communication, news was received that Grand Lodge had approved the establishment of the Western Shamrock Lodge No. 889 on the 29th of September, 1984. The constitution of which would take place after the 31st of January, 1985. Consecration of Western Shamrock No. 889. The consecration of the Second Irish Lodge was carried out on the 31st January, 1985, by the Deputy Grand Master, R.W. Bro. Major George Malone. Officers of South Carolina and District Grand Lodge. Officers of the English and Scottish districts assisted in the constitution of the new lodge. Presentation. At the February, 1985, communication, the Deputy GM presented a commemorative goblet to the lodge to mark the occasion of the establishment of a second Irish lodge. V.W. Bro. Major Glenley Shamrock Neil Dwyer was invested by the DGM as Honourable Past Grand Steward of Charities. Appointment of a Grand Inspector. At the April, 1985 communication, the appointment by Grand Lodge of W. Bro. Ian M. D. Murphy OBE, JP, as the first Grand Inspector for Jamaica was announced, effective 7 March 1985. R.T. W. Bro. Murphy presented an Irish blackthorn shillelagh to the lodge for keeping order at the festive board. Unfortunately, soon thereafter, this item disappeared. R.T. W. Bro. R.O.C. White, Q.C. D.G.M. SC was proposed as an honorary member of the lodge at the December 1986 communication, which was confirmed by acclaim at the February 1987 communication. Notable dates in Irish Freemasonry in Jamaica. 1985, Constitution of Western Shamrock Lodge #889. The first daughter lodge of South Carolina, Western Shamrock Lodge, is constituted by R.T. W. Bro. Major George Malone, Deputy Grand Master of the Grand Lodge of Ireland. He is assisted by R.T. W. Bro. Dr. Aubrey Jacobs, DGM of Jamaica and the Cayman Islands. E.C. R.T.W. Bro. R.O.C. White, DGM of Jamaica and the Bahamas, S.C., among others. Were. Bro. Captain Harry Wharton, PM, #390, is the founding Were. Master. 1989, Constitution of St. James Lodge #898. War. Bro. Reverend Dr. Alfred C. Reed, PM, #390, is the founding War. Master. Other founders from South Carolina Lodge are, V. War. Bro. Captain Harry Wharton and War. Bro. Commander Richard S. Harvey. Constitution of Emerald Lodge #899. Were. Bro. Ainsley C. Mitchell, PM, #390, is the founding Were. Master. Other founders from South Carolina Lodge are, V. Were. Bro. Captain Harry Wharton, Were. Brothers Derek McCoy, William Burnett, Trevor Ottey, Paul Bezick and David Vernon. From other lodges, were Brothers C. Lloyd Isaacs, Wylston D. Taylor, Leonard Green, Donald de Cordova, Alfred Shaw, A. H. Stewart and Brothers Bert Ramsey, Alistair Cook and James Wharton. 1993, Constitution of Irish Masters Lodge #907. War. Bro. Lawrence H. Stewart, PM, #390, is the founding War. Master. Other founders from South Carolina are, War. Brothers Clarence T. Brown, William Burnett, Harry Wharton, Reverend Dr. Alfred Reed, Peter Moss Solomon, Derek McCoy, Ainsley Mitchell and Thomas Liu. From other lodges, War. Brothers Neil McLaren, Philippa Burnett, Lloyd West, Richard Sasso, Ronald Koch, Wylston D. Taylor, Leonard Green, C. Lloyd Isaacs, Jeffrey Roach, Charles Elis, Ero.Ne Miles, Ulrich Pottinger, Narik Hietani and Ashok Mulchandani. 1995, Constitution of the Provincial Grand Lodge of Jamaica. Constituted by Most Worshipful Bro. Darwin Templeton, Grand Master of the Grand Lodge of Ireland. The first initiate of the First Daughter Lodge, Wait. Stern Shamrock #889. RT War. Bro. James S. Mus Solomon is installed as the first Provincial Grand Master. RT War. Bro. Lawrence H. Stewart, PM #390, is installed as Provo Deputy GM, RT War. Bro. Reverend Dr. Alfred Reed as the Provo Assistant GM, V. War. Bro. Captain Harry Wharton as Provo G. Superintendent of Works. Other South Carolina brethren installed and invested as officers of the Provo Grand Lodge are, V. War. Bro. Alistair L. P. Narcis as Provo Senior Grand Warden, V. War. Bro. Thomas G. Liu as Provo Senior Grand Deacon, V. War. Bro. Michael J. Belcher, Provo Grand Director of Ceremonies, V. War. Bro. Peter N. Moss Solomon as Prof. Grand Treasurer, V. War. Bro. Derek V. McCoy as Prof. Grand Secretary, V. War. Bro. Trevor Ottey as Prof. Grand Armona, V. War. Bro. P. William Burnett, Prof. Senior Grand Deacon, V. War. Bro. Clarence T. Brown as Prof. Grand Steward of Charities, War. Bro. Paula Bezick as Prof. Grand Inner God. 1996, Constitution of True Craftsman Lodge #921. War. Bro. Gordon H. S. Glove, PM, #390, is the founding War. Master. Also. War. Bro. Derek McCoy DOC #390. War. Bro. Percy E. Tomlinson #390. War. Bro. Paul M. Pasmore #390. Bro. Peter H. G. Stewart #390. From other lodges. War. Brothers Carlos de la Mota, Richard Sasso, Bernard M. Wong, Lloyd R. Moore, Ian Wong, Lance Apullen, Al Parsley, Ken Gooden, Ivanhoe Clark and brothers Andre Smith, Charles Russo, Dr. Osmond Tomlinson, Earl Frater, Henry Broderick and Dayton Wood. 1999, South Carolina Lodge honored by visit of R.T. Were. Bro. Eric Fenelon, Deputy Grand Master of the Grand Lodge of Ireland. 2000, South Carolina Lodge makes history by traveling with its warrant, this time holding its regular, June, communication in the Grand Lodge Temple, upstairs 17 Molesworth Street in Dublin, Ireland. Brethren present are War. Bro. Captain Michael A. Benjamin W. Master. R.T. Were. Bro. Lawrence Stewart PM as S.W. Were. Bro. Paula Bezic PM as J.W. Were. Bro. Peter H. G. Stewart Secretary. War. Bro. Major Winston Dwyer Treasurer. R.T. War. Bro. R.T. Reverend Dr. Alfred C. Reed Chap. V. Were. Bro. A.L.P. Narcis D.I.R. of Ceremonies. V. Were. Bro. Derek V. McCoy PM. R.T. Were. Bro. James Moss Solomon. Also in attendance from Jamaica are War. Bro. Lloyd Moore, 921. Bro. Bob Fowler, 899. Bro. James Hoon, 899. War. Bro. Michael Hemming, 889. War. Bro. Trevor Jones, 889. At the 275th anniversary meeting of the Grand Lodge of Ireland later that same day, which the brethren from Jamaica also attended, R.T. Were. Bro. R.T. Reverend Dr. Alfred C. Reed is invested as Junior Grand Chaplain of the Grand Lodge of Ireland. 2000, V. Were. Bro. Derek V. McCoy, PM, #390, is promoted to Provo Deputy Grand Master upon the retirement of R.T. Were. Bro. Lawrence H. Stewart also PM of South Carolina #390. Were. Bro. Peter H. G. Stewart is promoted to Prof. Grand Secretary. 2002 October. 2 past Master of South Carolina Lodge are honored for their contribution to Irish Freemasonry in Jamaica by Saville Lodge #530, SC, they are, V. Were. Bro. Alistair L. P. Narcis and War. Bro. Peter H. G. Stewart. 2002 December, visit by R.T. Were. Bro. Michael Ward, Grand Director of Ceremonies, of the Grand Lodge of Ireland. R.T. Were. Bro. Derek Vincent McCoy is promoted to Provo Grand Master of the Provincial Grand Lodge of Jamaica, upon the retirement of R.T. War. Bro. James S. Moss Solomon, R.T. War. Bro. R.T. Reverend Dr. Alfred Reed is promoted to Provo Deputy Grand Master and War. Bro. Peter H. G. Stewart is promoted to R.T. Were. Prof. Assistant Grand Master. 2002, Grand Lodge certifies 4 brethren as instructors in ritual and ceremony for this Masonic province. They are R.T. Were. Bro. Lawrence Stewart P. Dip. Provo GM, R.T. War. Bro. Peter H. G. Stewart, Provo Assistant. GM, V. War. Bro. Alistair LP Narciss, P Provo SGW, V War. Bro. Captain, N. Hardley Lewin. Provo PSGW. These brethren are certified by RT Were. Bro. Michael Ward, representing the Grand Lodge of Instruction assisted by RT Were. Brothers James S. Moss Solomon and Derek V. McCoy. 2002, Constitution of Port Royal Lodge #926. The founding were. Master is Bro. Commander George S. Reynolds of the Jamaica Defense Force Coast Guard, and the Director of Ceremonies is Captain, Naval, Hardley McCullough E. Lewin, P.S.G.W. Founders from South Carolina Lodge RT Were. Bro. Derek V. McCoy, V War. Bro. Alistair L.P. Narciss, War. Brothers Christopher Tomlinson, David Vernon, Paul Bezick, and brothers Jonathan Wemyss Gorman, Stephen Cook, Commander Sidney Innes, Gary Millwood and Stephen Hanna. 2003, Constitution of Providence Lodge #928. In Nassau, Bahamas. The lodge is constituted by the Grand Master, most were. Bro. Eric N. Waller, assisted by RT Were. Bro. Derek V. McCoy, PGM of Jamaica and the Bahamas as the installing master, RT Were. Bro. Ralph Seligman, PPGM of Bermuda, RT Were. Bro. David Young, DGS of Works. Of the Grand Lodge of Jamaica, SC, RT Were. Bro. Peter H. G. Stewart, Provo Assistant. Grand Master, V. Were. Bro. Percy E. Tomlinson, Provo GD of CV Were. Bro. Bernard M. Wong, Provo G-Sec, and RT Were. Bro. Idris Reed, DGM of Bahamas. SC. The founding worshipful master is Were. Bro. Joseph B. Alfred, Deputy DGM of Bahamas and Turks, EC. Other founders are Were. Bro. Peter Cole, PDGM Bahamas and Turks, RT Were. Bro. James Bain, DGM Bahamas and Turks, EC, Were. Bro. Arthur Chase, PDGM of Bahamas, SC, and other brethren from Nassau Lodges. Founders from South Carolina are RT Were. B. Peter H. G. Stewart, V. Were. Bro. Chrysotop Kirkcaldy, PJGW, V. Were. Bro. Percy Tomlinson, Were. Bro. Michael A. Benjamin and Bro. Delevel T. Banbury. 2005 December. The Provincial Grand Lodge initiates celebration of 100 years of continuous Irish Masonry Jamaica.